Thank you, Texas Southern University. Thank you, Texas Southern University. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd like to bring to the stage now the CEO of Wells Fargo, Charlie Scharf.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. First of all, thank you to everyone at Emancipation Park and all of you to come out for this wonderful event for us. In particular, Mayor Turner, who we're going to hear from in a little bit, Thomas Jones, and the many board members from HEF, Houston City Council members, Diana Rosas, who you'll be hearing from shortly, the many business owners, not-for-profit leaders, and community leaders that are here. A whole series of my Wells Fargo colleagues, both from Houston and from other areas, who put a tremendous amount of effort into not just this announcement today, but all that we have done for Houston through the years. And lastly, I want to make sure that we recognize Robin Oloyede, who's in the back, for the colorful plates display today. It is great to be in Houston, which, as we were talking with the mayor earlier, is the most diverse in the country. It's also extraordinarily important for Wells Fargo. We have over 2,000 people here, nearly 2 million customers, and we have been longtime supporters of the Houston community. It's something which is in the DNA of Wells Fargo, of not just being there to do this, but figuring out how you can give back. And I've had the opportunity to hear some great stories over the last couple of days of some of the things that we've done here over a long period of time. But today we're here to announce a new gift, which is a $20 million grant to the Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity. And I'll just, if I can, just take a couple of minutes, just give you a little background on how this came about. We, like so many other banks in this country, participated in the PPP program. PPP at the time, as we know, was extraordinarily important. It was critically important to get money out as quickly as possible to as many small businesses as possible. And we did our part of that. We administered over $13 billion PPP loans. We focused on small businesses, with the vast majority of ours going to small businesses with less than 10 employees. But as part of administering that $13 billion, the government paid us a lot of money to do that. In our case, just for the loans that we administered in 2020, we got paid $420 million by the government. We as a management team, which if you just remember back, these are times that everyone was trying to figure out what was happening, how to go forward. We were trying to figure out how we can be most helpful for our employees, our clients, our customers, our communities. All these conversations kind of kept coming together. And when we sat there and had the conversation about the $420 million, you know, Mike Santomasin was our chief financial officer. He was kind of booking it and saying, gee, that's $420 million of profit. Isn't that great? And then we sat there, including Mike, and we said, you know, honestly, it's just not right. We do not need $420 million to administer this program. We did it with existing employees, existing resources. It was helping our customers, the communities that we do business in, and we didn't have to be enriched for this. More importantly, this wasn't a financial crisis. This is a crisis within our communities. And so when we talked about, you know, what can we do to try and be as impactful as we can be, we said we should figure out how we're going to give away all $420 million back into communities that need it the most. So that was the beginning of the conversation. The second part of the conversation came to the question of how are we going to do it? Because we give away $300 million a year through our foundation. We support as much as we can locally. As I said, we gave away $13 billion or administered $13 billion through the PPP program. But we said we've got to really work hard to try and reach people that we otherwise wouldn't be able to reach. and we really wanted to focus on diverse small businesses. So what we said was we're going to give the majority of the money away through partners, through local partners that know businesses, know individuals that we don't necessarily know, that are in communities where we don't participate. And as much as we want to be able to reach more people directly ourselves, we should, with the reality, we need help if we really want to reach people, specifically who couldn't access the PPP plan. As good as PPP was, the fact is many didn't have banking relationships that needed the money. Many didn't have the technical expertise. Many didn't have the ability to get the documents together. And so, while he wasn't, it just an awful lot. And so, by taking our $420 million, working with local partners, that was our way of saying, okay, we don't have this all figured out by ourselves. We need to look to others and say, how can we be more impactful? As part of that $420 million, we've specifically said that we want to pick 5 cities that are very important to us, where we think we can make a difference, both because the city cares, but also because we've confirmed the right local partner. And so that's what we've done. The program itself, I would say, open for business in total, we've committed to give away all $420 million at this point. We think we're reaching over 150,000 small businesses, as I said, most that we otherwise wouldn't. 85% of them are diverse owned. And, these numbers are hard, but we think we've been able to help save between 250 and 300,000 jobs. So as we think about this award today, we sat back and said, let's think about the 5 cities. I described a little bit of what the criteria were, and Houston was one of those cities that came to the forefront very, very quickly. Obviously, as you all know, and as I said, the most diverse city in the country. We have a hugely meaningful presence here today. We want to continue to have a meaningful presence, and we want to grow over time. But we also, we believe in what the city is doing, and we believe in the vision that the mayor has, and we want to be helpful in a much broader way than we've already been. So we're just thrilled to be able to make this award, and have a lot of confidence that it's going to help the people that we intend to help. This award is structured in a way which is really important. The announcement is that we are going to administer it through HEF in partnership with the greater Houston community. The focus is going to be on under-resourced communities, including the complete community's neighborhoods, and they will aim to support businesses with 50 or fewer people. At least 30% of the funding is expected to go to over 30% of the funding is expected to go to women-owned businesses. And so when we think about those that we want to target, we are quite excited about it. And this is different than others because it's really focused on grants, and we think we can have a huge impact by doing that. So on behalf of all of my colleagues at Wells, again, who I think have just done an extraordinary job through incredibly difficult times, but I've only been at the company 2.5 years, but I've had the opportunity to learn what we've done over an extended period of time, and I'm just super proud to be affiliated with Wells. And what I can assure you is that what we're working on doing is thinking about the next series of things that we're going to do. This is a long-term partnership. It's not just about showing up and getting some money and then going away for a long period of time. In fact, the most important thing that we want to do is to make sure that we're having as big of an impact as we can have. So I look forward to being able to do that, and I'm highly confident that our partners are going to make that happen. So if I could just ask the mayor to come up, and Tom come as well, and just want to present you with This is it's called this open. We've done these across the country, and this represents those that have participated in our Open for Business program. And so, if I can present it to you, I would love to do that and to tell you how excited we are to work with you. We're excited. That's great. And now I will turn it over to the mayor for his remarks.
Let me put these glasses on. I was going to try to do it without the glasses, but vanity sometimes does not serve you well. So let me try these Walgreens, $14.98. You know, but look, let me say good morning and Charlie. Let me thank you. Let me thank you. Let me thank Wells from the very beginning for what's happening here today. $20 million to Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity aligns very well with the fund. And I certainly want to acknowledge Thomas Jones, President, and all the board members who are here today. And I know Thomas is going to be recognizing, but let me just ask the board members to recognize it. And Charlie, I like the fact when you said it's not just about the contribution that's been made today, but the long-term relationship as we move forward. And I know this is your first time as the CEO as well, Fargo, being in Houston. So terrific time to come and what a terrific gift to give. So thank you so very much. Wells Fargo investment will significantly benefit businesses of color, many of whom are located in our underserved communities. I also thank for pathways to financial health and a sustainable low carbon environment, which is something that we also believe in very strongly. And when it comes to small business growth, specifically in communities of color, Wells Fargo focuses on providing networks of support to strengthen business create jobs. And let me you have a strong team here in the city of Houston. I'm quite familiar with people like RC, been very helpful. I see Jeff Powell in the room and Desiree Morgan that's in the room. So many from Wells Fargo that we've worked with, that I've worked with over the years. When we announced the Houston Equity Fund last May, our initial fundraising goal was $25 million to accelerate meaningful change among those who are under-resourced and overlooked. This generous gift by Wells Fargo will enact meaningful change and help sustain our city's diverse small businesses that play a vital role in driving long-term economic growth and innovation while allowing our communities to thrive. We've been working on a concept or strategy called Complete Communities. I see Councilmember Tasha Jackson that's also in the room. She represents one of those communities that have been underserved and under-resourced. And the investment that's being provided here will benefit not just her district, but so many others throughout our city. After all, small businesses have a big impact. For many communities throughout our city, these small businesses are their lifeline and what makes their area special and very unique. They also foster local economies, create jobs, and keep money local, which in turn supports our neighborhoods and our communities. And many of these communities, Charlie, that we are talking about, if you go throughout the city of Houston, you may not see financial institutions like a Wells Fargo in those institutions. But the investment that's being made here through the Houston Social Justice and Economic Fund will benefit organizations and businesses that reside in these communities, that provide jobs to the people in this community. So the number may be 20 million, but the overall impact will be much more. Nearly 97% of businesses in our region have fewer than 500 employees. the standard to be considered a small business. And these collectively employ 44% of the region's workforce, or 1.2 million employees. And what's more, nearly 35% of Houston area small businesses with 50 or fewer employees are minority owned, and this region ranks fifth in the nation for minority entrepreneurship. Many of our existing small businesses have been hit the hardest by the economic impact of the pandemic. Between February and April of 2020, the number of active Black-owned businesses declined by 41%. Latinx-owned businesses declined by 32%, and Asian-owned businesses dropped by 25%, versus just 21% for the general U.S. population. If this doesn't demonstrate the need for support and the magnitude and significance of this investment, then I don't know what does. We as a city have worked hard to support our small businesses and communities with several initiatives, including the City of Houston Small Business Economic Relief Program, using $35 million in CARES funding. This program provided almost 1,100 businesses with grant funds ranging from $50,000 to sustain their operations. Nearly 40% of grant recipients were located in low to moderate income areas. Nearly 80% of grant awardees were identified as African American, Asian, or Latinx. This program showed that our communities of color remain in much need of assistance. But one thing I can tell you as mayor, the city of Houston, the municipality, cannot do it alone. Unless we have meaningful partners willing to step up and partner with us, the need will continue to exist. My administration has an office dedicated to cultivating a diverse economic environment. I see Gwen Tillison, who's here in our economic development section, Shannon Buggs, who directs our complete communities. We also place special emphasis on providing business development programs for entrepreneurs in all stages of business. But as the fourth largest city in the country and the most diverse, there is still a need to do more. And that's one of the reasons why I'm proud to stand with Wells Fargo today, recognizing that through partnership, we can meet a greater need. Lastly, Wells Fargo's generous $20 million donation will help build upon our efforts and provide powerful support to Houston's diverse small business owners. These grants, working through the Houston Social Justice and Economic Equity Fund, these grants have the potential to keep the dream of business ownership alive and well in our city. We understand that no single organization can rectify historic and systemic inequities overnight, but we are committed to taking tangible actions that can drive long-term impact and change, and it starts right here and right now. And lastly, Charlie, as I indicated to you before, we have asked other financial institutions to step up and make meaningful and impactful investments in our community. But there always has to be the first, to show others the way. No one can solve all of these problems, but there has to be a strong, impactful institution that's willing to say we recognize, we're willing to change the paradigm just a little, and we're willing to partner with an organization like the Houston Social Justice and Economic Equity Fund and align its mission with that of the city. And by being the first, I believe you're paving the way for others to follow. At least that is my hope. And so now so if you join me in thanking Charlie and Wells Fargo one more time. Now I'd like to turn the mic over to Thomas Jones, who was one of the initial persons stepping up and creating this fund. President of the Board of the Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity, Thomas Jones, the Thomas Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. And just so everyone knows, it's very rare, if not ever, that I would come after the mayor. So thank you very much for that warm introduction. I am truly excited to be here today for what really is a milestone, unbelievable announcement. Just last year, as Mayor indicated, we convened a unified group of Houston leaders dedicated to accelerating transformative change by supporting under-resourced Houston nonprofits and small businesses that empower and uplift communities of color. Together, we created the Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity. I'm honored to serve as president of this esteemed group and would like to take this opportunity now to introduce the rest of these individuals, my former fellow board members who have helped make the Houston Equity Fund possible. Please stand as I call your name. Mayor Sylvester Turner, Honorary Board Chair. Baron Wallace, Partner, Bracewell Board and Vice President of our board. Partner at Bracewell, is Baron here? Did he have to leave? Okay. Stephanie Nellens Page is CEO of the Nellens Page Group. Stephanie is our board secretary. Winnell Heron, Group Vice President of Public Affairs, Diversity and Environmental Affairs for HEB and is our board treasurer. And if you're like me, I visit HEB almost every week, if not more. Love that store. Gerald Alley, President and CEO of Conrail Construction, couldn't be here today, but his son, where's Byron? Stand up, Byron. Byron is representing him. Gerald's company is one of the largest African-American owned construction companies in the South, based in Arlington. But he's been a good friend and does a lot of business in Houston, so I made him get on our board. Gordy Bannister, CEO of Different Points of View. Gordy's not here. Paul Cannings, Managing Partner of Paul Alexander Company. Paul, I see you back there. Shauna Clark, Global and U.S. Chair, U.S. Head of Employment and Labor for Norton Rose Fulbright. I see Shauna here. I think she may be traveling. Vanessa Gilmore, a United States District Judge, or should I be retired, recently retired, has joined me in retirement, and a longtime friend, Vanessa Gilmore. Thank you, Vanessa. Bernard Harris, CEO of National Math and Science Initiative. Kimberly Slaughter, CEO of Sistra USA. I believe there you are. And Valerie Marshall Williams, former Southwest Assurance Managing Partner for Ernst & Young. Please join me in giving these folks a round of applause. Shortly after we got all of the things in order, you know, the legal and that thing, we recognized that we needed some help to get our program up and running and executing all of the different activities that we planned. And so we were fortunate to hire a wonderful executive director, and Dr. Gina Jerkins, would you step up, Lady Red? Thank you for all your help in really helping us pull this together. The Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity was created with a goal to enact transformational change by investing resources in the organizations and initiatives that empower and uplift communities of color. We're honored really to collaborate with Wells Fargo on such an impactful opportunity for small businesses and nonprofit organizations within the Houston community. Programs like Wells Fargo's Open for Business are what makes this mission possible. The Open for Business Fund, as Charlie indicated, is a roughly $420 million national small business recovery effort with a focus on diverse small business owners and not-for-profit organizations who have been affected by the pandemic. The Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity is most grateful for this generous $20 million grant. With this grant, we'll be able to help diverse small businesses and nonprofit organizations with 50 or fewer employees across the city to secure tangible assets, land, building, equipment, technology, inventory, to help them stabilize their business, strengthen relatively new or young businesses, or expand business capacity for existing businesses. As the details of this grant opportunity to develop, updates will be added to our website, and you can find that at www.houstonequityfund.com. I'm sure there's a lot of information out there on your table for that as well. Lastly, Charlie, I wanted to say, as I mentioned to you earlier, this is truly an unusual, not unique gift grant, and I've never seen anything like this in my 45 years of business here in Houston. To give place the kind of trust in an organization like this to carry this mission out is and the autonomy that you give it is unbelievable, and we certainly appreciate that. And it is, I think I can speak for my board when I say that, Charlie, we're going to take real good care of this $20 million. And by the way, we already have it, so it's not like one of these where you announce it and then it might, it's already in the bag. We're going to take real good care of this, and in a few years, I hope you'll look back and say, and you and your investment team will be able to say, this is one of the best investments that Wells Fargo has made. I'm now asked to introduce Ron Sims, Congresswoman from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee's, I think she's Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee's Chief of Staff. Are you there? There you go.
Good day, everyone. Jerome Sims, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee's Chief of Staff. She sends her regards and her regrets for not being here. For many of you know, currently in the region of Ukraine, holding very important negotiations and meetings and leading in several of those in the attempts to thwart what we now know occurred late last night with Russia invading Ukraine. So I just ask that you all say prayers to the people of Ukraine and also our congressional delegation and our member of Congress who are there now, who will be returning home tomorrow. Sheila Jackson Lee, thanks Charlie Sheriff and the Wells Fargo team who made this day possible. There are 32.5 million small businesses in the US, which account for 99.9% of all US businesses. They are essential to our national, state, and Houston area economy. The Wells Fargo grant program will support and fuel the local economy by providing much needed support to small local businesses. Following Hurricane Harvey, Congresswoman Jackson Lee's focus was on bringing back small businesses that were impacted by that disaster. She introduced the Hurricane Harvey Small Business Recovery Grants Act, which provided loans to businesses that would not require repayment if certain conditions were met, namely that they use the funds to reopen. She believed in this approach and worked to ensure that this grant program was included in the final Hurricane Harvey appropriations bill that became law. This was the first time a federal program was established that provided direct grants to small business owners for the sole purpose of supporting them to reopen their businesses following a disaster. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on behalf of the constituents of the 18th Congressional District of Texas, I take great pride in recognizing Wells Fargo CEO Charlie Sheriff on the occasion of the Wells Fargo Open for Business Fund grant announcement. This major grant will work to support Houston area small businesses recover from the economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The event is to serve as Wells Fargo's announcement of $29 million through the Wells Fargo Open for Business Fund to the Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity. Your commitment to supporting the Houston area diverse small businesses reflects the pride that exemplifies the spirit of Houston and the great state of Texas. Your efforts are most deserving of the respect, admiration, and commendation of the United States Congress. And now I have the honor of introducing or bringing to the lectern Diana Rosas, President and CEO of Que Bonito Mexican Fashion, small business owner and recipient of OFB through Houston Community College.
If you don't tie them down, we will take them.
It's fine. Hello, everyone. My name is Diana Rosas. I am the CEO of Que Bonito Mexican in Fashion, a clothing, shoes, and accessories store located in the west side of Houston. When I was 21 years old, I came to the United States from Mexico after studying foreign languages in college. I always had the desire to come to the United States to continue studying, practicing, and developing my language skills. However, coming from Mexican entrepreneur family, I also had the desire to start my own business. In 2017, my beautiful mother encouraged me to start my own business of Mexican clothing. I wasn't sure if I could do it as I was dealing with anxiety and depression at the time, but my mother helped me and I continue anyway. I started Que Bonito Mexican in Fashion without knowledge for opening a business in United States. It was hard for me to find information of how to register a business, learn financing skills, and how to do marketing. Because of the necessity of information, I started listening to successful people's stories in social media and the way they develop successful businesses. I applied some advices they mentioned, like be persistent and self-motivate, to my work ethic. I got attached to these two phrases in my daily life. I went on to open my boutique on November 2018. I was very happy to have a space to receive my customers. In 2020, like many other businesses, the pandemic had affected Que Bonito Mexican in Fashion. Our sales dropped, which made me worry about how to pay the rent, bills, and expenses. My mother had the great idea of making embroidered face masks. So we ordered some from Mexico. As soon as we let the customers know about the new product, everybody wanted to buy them. We sold more than 20,000 face masks in different cities of the United States. This helped us to get more business during the pandemic. As an entrepreneur, I'm always looking for new ways to grow my business. So one day, I saw an invitation for business owners to participate in the Open for Business for Women Entrepreneur program through Houston Community College, which was funded by the Wells Fargo Open for Business Fund. So I decided to enroll. The program has impacted my business tremendously. I have restructured the financing area, like money management, how to make inventory, and get the cost and earnings of a product. I learned that marketing is not an expense, it's an investment. Thanks to the marketing classes, I realized one thing in particular, the importance of your business name. So I made the decision of changing the old name, the Chanel's Fashion and because nobody could pronounce it, so I had to change it to Que Bonito Mexican in Fashion to help my business stand out more. As an immigrant with language barrier, it's hard to think that one day you can have your own business. My biggest struggle was feeling inferior, thinking that a foreign coming from Mexico couldn't make a business in the USA. Latino women have dreams and desires of one day open their own business and give jobs to many people. But the dreams seem impossible when they don't have the basic tools and information to run a successful business. Because of those obstacles, dreams are often put aside. But thanks to the Wells Fargo Open for Business Fund and Houston Community College, I was able to receive the tools and advice to take my business to the next level. Every time I feel like giving up, I remember that this amazing business helped me to recover from anxiety. I have great pride that I was able to provide jobs to a couple of families in Mexico and contribute to this country. One of my dreams is to have distributors in different parts of the United States and someday in other countries. Programs like Open for Business give the opportunity to Latin community to get inspired, educated, and be more confident. And my only hope is that Wells Fargo will continue to invest in local programs all year long that help small businesses like myself so they can be successful too. Thank you for allowing me to share my story today. Thank you.
All right, let me just do this. I know the Congresswoman presented a certificate, Charlie, to you, but I want to present. Let me present this proclamation to you, and so let me do this. I won't read it all in full, but what I will say is that the City of Houston benefits greatly from organizations that are committed to helping our communities and businesses prosper. Wells Fargo is a leading financial services provider focused on helping diverse-owned small businesses acquire assets, grow their business, and plan for the future. And whereas Wells Fargo is making a $20 million grant announcement to the Houston Fund for Social Justice and Economic Equity, an organization that empowers communities of color with equitable access to resources, the grant to HEF will be distributed from Wells Fargo Open for Business Fund. This capital will help Houston small business owners scale their businesses, expand economic development and opportunities. And whereas on February 24, 2022, and I might add, during Black History Month too, and right here at Emancipation Park, which is the oldest park in the state of Texas, Wells Fargo will be recognized for its extraordinary contributions to the Houston community. The City of Houston commends Wells Fargo for supporting Houston small business and being an impactful partner with the City of Houston. So therefore I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, hereby proudly proclaim this day, February 24, 2022, as Open for Business Day, Wells Fargo in Houston, Texas. Let me present this to you. Well, then don't sit down. Yeah, now you can put the proclamation down, but don't sit down. And then I tell you what, with the, well, now why don't you come up? And in fact, why don't I get the board? If you don't, when you bringing the board members up? Well, I'm bringing up. With the board members, will y'all come on up? Yeah, I tell you what, would it be better to stand down?
We can get above.
Yeah, y'all come on up. Y'all come on up. I mean, look, this is a very important day, and sometimes you can move so quickly past that you can forget the moment. And so, you know, I don't want to miss the moment or overlook the moment or take away from the moment. And Charlie, this is February the 24th. Now, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo really kind of starts today with the cookout. And I think you're leaving out today.
I am.
Well, you're going to miss my barbecue, but that's okay. But the cookout starts today and tomorrow and on Saturday. But the rodeo actually starts on Monday. Now, I was out this morning on my horse. True story, you know, because when I became mayor, hell, I'd never been on a horse. And so they asked, was I going to ride in the parade on the horse or was I going to be in a carriage? I said, no, I ain't going to be in nobody's carriage. So I went and met my horse. and took my little lessons. And this morning I was back at the horse again. And but during the rodeo, we'll have our jeans and our boots and hat and everything. I want to present to you this initial belt buckle, you know, that symbolizes Houston. We were formed on the railroad. And so this is a symbol from Houston, the belt buckle. And where's my other deal? Now, where are you located, Charlie? I mean, where are you principally office?
In New York.
In New York.
I'll fit right in.
So, you know, on behalf of the board, the SPON, want to present to you now this Texas hat. and when you're in New York, you know, behind your desk, I want to be able to look and see this hat.
On my head.
Oh, yeah. Or at least just send us a picture. But go on. You gotta try it on, you know. Other way. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That looks good on you.
You know, this will be the new Wells Fargo uniform. Well, listen, thank you very much for everything, for all the kind words, for the partnership, for everything that we've done. One of the things that, as we talk about our commitment to the communities, one of the things that we always talk about at Wells is we use the words, we say it's a sprint, but it's an ultra marathon. And it's a sprint because we want to make as much progress as we can, as quickly as we can, because our communities need it. But at the same time, we know that there's no silver bullet, there's no easy answer here. It's a commitment over a long period of time. And so we're committed to help over a long period of time, both ourselves and working with others. So I do look forward to coming back and celebrating all that you've done with the funds and talking about where we go from there. So thank you all for coming out, and thank you all for everything that you do. Very kind. Thank you.
Give you your belt
Ooh,